And let's see. It looks like we have Mr. Tony Man being a scamp here. Hello, hello, hello. And then, of course, hi to Slipknot. And then, no wonder. I wonder if that was professional teaming with sarcasm and a little bit of both. LOL.
No, I was trying to be professional as I can be, even though I had a hard time getting myself together today. But there's a reason for it. I had like um a moment. Actually, let me see if I can pull up a picture so that I can see you guys. If anyone hasn't seen the movie, I'm gonna pull up a picture of or at least the poster for Talk to Me. I like this picture, this A24 picture. I'm gonna pull that one. All right, let me share my screen, and I'm just going to leave this up while we're talking. Um, hmm.
Yeah, if you're on mobile, I've noticed sometimes it has trouble with bringing
N-
the photos up. So I don't know if you're on your phone.
No, I'm on my computer, and I have the picture enlarged, but it's not reading it for some reason. Oh,
Mm.
because it's in preview. Hold on, let me open it up in. Maybe if I open up in iPhotos. No, no, what? I'll just use the com- the Let's close this. Maybe that's why it's doing that. I close that. Come on, open. There we go. Well, I also know that my computer wanted to do an update and I said not now. And sometimes when they want to do an update, they say, "Oh, well, we're just going to act up. I'm just going to act up for you until you do the update." Here we go. Okay, I put it on there, but I think you have to change the orientation on
Uh,
your side
okay, let me see if
so
I
that
can
it
remember.
has the picture up with us on the side.
It doesn't look like it switched. I'll try it again.
Yeah, because I'm presenting. All right. Well, you know what? I'll do it. Oh, it switched to you larger. Try a little bit more to your right. It's one of the options on the right.
Okay.
If not, I'll do it old school and pull it up on my phone and just show it on my phone.
Yeah, I tried doing the one where we would both be on the side and then the image would be on the middle. It doesn't look like it did that.
Okay, no problem. I'll pull it up on my phone. We go low tech.
Yeah,
I'm Gen X. I could do this.
I've just noticed mobile doesn't quite work the same as laptop, which
Oh, so you're are you on mobile?
yes.
Oh, that's why. Okay, gotcha. All right. This is the image that I was thinking of. You see this image here of Talk to Me,
Oh yeah.
which is one of the creepiest scenes in the movie. But I have to get over this little thing that I have because I during the whole movie I could not stop staring at her hair, and I'm like, what's up with this chick's hair? This is such a thing that doesn't really matter, but it's funny to me. And I was thinking about it because especially since today I have like a really whack braid out that didn't come out the way it needed to come out, but that's okay. I'm used to bad hair days, and it reminded me of this. I know what's wrong with her hair because the same thing happened to me. I'm gonna here it is. Sixth grade. You see that? That's what happens when your auntie puts a relaxer in your hair and your hair breaks off and then like the new growth is showing so your the ends of your hair are really really straight but then the roots are really, really curly. And that's why I kept staring at her like, I know that. I've been through that. Okay, now that I've got that out of the way, we can actually talk about the actual movie. But that was on my mind, and it just occurred to me right before we we're going live. Why?
No, no, you're all right. I mean, it kind of, I mean, obviously it's not something I would have caught, but it was partial poster analysis.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then I've noticed she does tend to wear the bright colors, like that really bright canary yellow, which,
Yes, that's why I put this shirt on today. It's the only thing I own that's that shade of like a mustard yellow. Like if I wear yellow, I usually wear a bright, like you said, a canary yellow. She her character always wears mustard, or there's always something mustard in the frame. Like it
mhm,
might be a mustard color pillow in the background or a blanket. There's always something mustard color in the frame with her. I'm not
yeah.
sure what that's meant to mean in the movie, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the color yellow, what it represents, and this is just personal experience from being a child, but I associate it with being sick.
Hmm. Yeah. You know what? That's what it could be. It's kind of like when James Wan and Lee Wanell first did Saw, and they made the bathroom scenes with that kind of uh, the word that comes to mind is putrid. That putrid filter. It's kind of, it's not. I don't know the name of it. I know like the sepia filter makes everything more yellow cast or brown cast, but
Mhm.
theirs was kind of a greenish blue, and they said they did that to make you feel sick.
Yeah, yeah, the subliminal stuff, which I guess would make sense because, oh, darn, I just forgot her name, Mia.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, she has like all these colors around her, which is her color palette, but I don't know if they're insinuating that, that she actually is sick, like if they're saying, oh, no, this is psychological, it's not an actual possession story. So it's just,
Yeah.
or I don't know if it's a little bit of both because she is at some point seeing things that aren't there. Other people don't see it or notice it.
Hmm. And the movie actually surprised me. It was creepier than I thought it was gonna be. I thought that it was gonna be like, "Oh, this is not gonna scare me. This is gonna be just like play." But it actually, some of the scenes creep me out. The shot that I just showed you guys of Mia leaning to the side doing that voice was really creepy to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like the traditional monster voice that you hear in movies. I want to say they layered it over her own voice in a different tone.
Most likely. Um, Slipknot fan says, haha, I avoid spoilers for all movies, even the bad ones, lol. Rainbow Fright says her hair bugs me too. Tony Man
Yeah,
says multi use of the shirt, Lady Sasha. You get the talk to me chick and Tina from Anos. That was not Tina. That was Sheila from Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Yeah, this is the
yeah,
the Sheila shirt from my the cosplay of Sheila. Um, there's a
yeah,
couple
the
more.
asthma chick.
Oh, Slipknot fan says, "How about Bruce Lee's yellow jumpsuit in Game of Death? One of the dopest outfits in any kung fu movie, honestly."
Yeah, very
And
iconic.
Tony Man says, "When I see yellow, I think McDonald's. When I see a yellow shirt, I think Lucy is gonna pull the ball away before I can kick it." Oh yeah, I remember there was a time in the '90s where the Charlie Brown shirt was very popular. Like people were
Yeah.
wearing Charlie Brown shirts.
Yeah, I do remember that. And
Hmm.
there were also these beanies that people would wear that looked like a dragon's tail, like it would just
Hmm.
drape behind them.
And the black Bart Simpson T-shirts. I used to love, it was like Bart Simpson dunking a basketball. But he was black. And for no reason, I thought those were funny. Or they used to have, it was like Mickey and Goofy, but they were dressed in like hip hop clothes. Whoever was making those T-shirts, like it was, it was very fun to see in the '90s.
Yeah, I had a
Um,
few of those.
Stop the philosophical zombie says, "Hey, oh, hi everyone. Hey, back to you. JJMPB says hey, and the Trash Picture Show says editing a video, but I got ye late. I wish I could say it the way he says it, but I got ye ladies playing in the background and listening while I edit. Very, very cool. Thank you."
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, it took me a while to catch up to the comments that you were writing.
Oh, it's no problem. Um, should we start with I did not know from the trailer, for some reason, I did not catch that this was an Australian film until, actually sitting down and watching it. I rewatched it this week, so I've seen it 2 times, and I think I enjoyed it better the second time than even the first time.
Mm. I didn't watch the trailer. I just jumped in, but yeah, I saw all of the Australian references, like the film companies at the beginning of the movie, and then there's that kangaroo, I think, that had been hit by a car previously.
Mhm. And then, the whole notion of how they treated the hand, which, by the way, for people who are watching, I will give like a very brief synopsis, but not spoilery. Uh, Talk to Me is a possession film, but it's not your typical possession film. There's no exorcism that happens in it. Um, and the it starts with this hand that the children say, or the teenagers say, is a mummified hand that's been wrapped in like plaster of Paris, and that it was a spiritual guide's here, not spiritual guide, a medium, spiritual
Hmm.
medium's hand, and they believe that by holding the hand and saying talk to me, they can commune with the spirits. But what ends up happening is they kind of treat it like it's a drug, because when they do this, it makes them feel a euphoric feeling, so they always want to do it over and over again. There are some rules though. You can't go beyond 90 seconds, and you light the candle to open the door, and you have to blow out the candle to close the door. And of course, in this being a horror movie, something has to go wrong, and something does go wrong. I won't tell you guys what it is that haven't watched it. We'll get into more of a spoiler discussion probably after we've talked for like a half an hour. But I say that to say that the when I first was watching this, and I was watching the teenagers treat this like they're getting high, I was thinking to myself, like, who would do that? Who would play with this type of spiritual thing? And then I remembered there is a YouTuber that is, I want to say he's just now 22 or 23 years old, but he is a member of Gen Z, not a teenager, but still a member of Gen Z. And I watched him do a YouTube video where he went into a haunted place, pulled out a Ouija board, cut himself and bled on the Ouija board, and talked to
Oh
spirits. So
gosh.
apparently, this is what the kids are into. I don't know. I'm an old lady, so I can only guess at what the kids are into. But yeah, very very interesting concept. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, and I did think of the hand as a Ouija board, and I know even in
Hmm.
film they're kind of depicted as being addictive as the spirit gets more a hold of you.
Mm.
And yeah, Mia did want to keep jumping back in, so it's kind of like, okay, she was looking for answers, but I think partially she actually did enjoy it, and I could be wrong on that.
Rainbow Fright says, "Man, I want to do this drug so bad." LOL. Now, I have been touched by a ghost before, but I mean, I it didn't give me any type of euphoric feeling. It just felt odd to have a disembodied hand touch you or play with your hair. I have to tell that story one day when I went to Casa Diego and a ghost played with my hair. But and there's another video that we made with a ghost touching Crystal. I got the aftermath of it on video. We were at a haunted train station in downtown Orlando, the old station. There's a new train station there now, but there's an old train station at Church Street Station that's said to be haunted. And we went there, went ghost hunting. We always, it's funny, Crystal and I always end up doing the things that they say, quote unquote, black people don't do. Going to cabins in the woods, going to ghost hunting, a lot of things that they say we don't do. But yeah, if you go to my channel, there's some video from summer 2021 when we did that.
Ah. Oh, and then just really quick, Tony Man was saying, to be honest, ladies, there was almost a talk to me hand on the podcast. However, A24, what was it, wanted too much and took too long.
Oh, well, I appreciate the thought. I think he's saying that he was going to order that for me, but I just finished saying I don't have space for this stuff. I still have my stuff up here. These zombies are from my birthday cake. I have to figure out a place of where to put them.
Oh,
I
cool.
got stuff I'm gonna do. This is just a impromptu show and tell, I guess. I got this here. I'll open it up so you guys can see it. We'll call this an unboxing. It is the stone from Wishmaster, which I've been
Ah,
wanting for a while. Someone makes these on Etsy. The name of their shop is, let's see here. Where's the name of your shop? The Chopping Mall. That's apropos. The Chopping Mall on Etsy. They make custom stuff. And they sent me a bookmark, kind of like a Mars Attacks ish bookmark.
oh
It's
yeah.
a nice little free gift. But I got that. I have to find a place for. Behind me, I got Gizmo
Ooh,
just yesterday. This is they have these at Five Below. So $5 for a Gizmo. That's a really good price. I couldn't pass it up. I still want the larger furry one, but that one's kind of expensive.
no, that was a really nice one. The only one I have is one of those Funko Pop
Mhm.
gizmos.
And this one I got for my birthday is Stripe.
Ah,
This one is not. This one is actually from Weta Workshop, co-produced with WB. So that one's pretty cool. Then what else did I have back here? I have a lamp that I need to put together. It's Jason Voorhees lamp, and it's pretty cool because you fill it with water, and he actually floats in the water,
oh,
being held down by a stone with the chain around his neck,
oh, okay.
which is pretty cool. I have to put that one together. It says horror movie lamp. This one doesn't say the company's name on the outside, so I can't give credit to that one. And then the last thing I have that I have to find. Oh no, I have two more things. This I have to put away is Michael Myers figurine. I should do like a separate like video with just the stuff in my little corner.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Then the things that my sister got me was Jack in a Box, which is J Hope's solo project, and she got me. She handed it to me, and I feel like looking at this and going, "Fred Krueger, Mom, Fred Krueger." But
Yeah.
this is another Freddy glove. You see, I have one right there, but
Hmm.
this one I'll put it is metal, so that's pretty cool. And you can see how the back of it looks. That's all like real metal. It's quite heavy. Nice glove. But yeah, I'm starting to feel claustrophobic in my corner because I have too much stuff and no place to put it, and I got to figure something out. Because it's just I'm gonna end up looking like one of those comic book podcasts where they have all this stuff around them, and I don't know whether I like that look for me or not. You guys have to tell me. The people that watch my channel, tell you. You guys let me know if it looks too cluttered back here. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. How did I get on this topic? I have no idea how I got here.
I don't remember.
We'll look in the chat. Let's see what they're saying since I went off on a tangent. Tony
Um,
Man says, "Shout out to Ghost Kid."
yeah.
Go
And then
above the fright. Oh yeah, she read that one.
that was the
From
podcast one.
Sad
Um,
Flan. How can Flan be? How could Flan be sad? Flan is a happy, very sweet.
it doesn't
Oh,
puff up the
yeah.
way it's supposed to.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be sad. Talk to Me was a great film. Happy to hear what y'all have to say.
Oh,
Welcome to the chat, and we want to hear what you have to say too. This is not just us talking, but a full conversation that we also have with the chat. The kangaroos getting hit in Wolf Creek 2 scene was wild. I
oops.
don't remember Wolf Creek 2. I only remember Wolf Creek 1 when he did that's what we call a head on a stick. That's what I
Yeah,
remember from that.
I've only
Um,
seen the first one.
yeah, Rainbow Fright says Gizmo too cute. Mogwai.
The
Tony Man
Flasher.
says, I want the Flasher Gremlin.
Oh yeah.
Rainbow says, love
He
the
has to
Freddy
have
glove.
batteries though and do the little dance.
Oh yeah. I hope that exists. I hope that is a thing that exists. Because I would buy that one. And the sexy gremlin with the green hair that kind of looks like they did a side by side with
Oh
her and
yeah.
Nicki Minaj. And
Lady
the
Gremlin.
outfits were the same and the hair was the same. Yeah, Rainbow says, love that Freddy glove. Um Marty says, Shasha, you got to do a dedicated collection video. It would rock. Yeah, I think I would have to make it in several parts
Yeah.
because there's a lot of stuff back here. It looks like there's not that much, but there's a lot of stuff back there. So I think I
Yeah,
would have to.
I'd love to check that out. I think that's a great idea.
Then I will do one. Thank you. That's 2 votes of confidence. I love it. Rainbow says, just send me some of it, Lady Shasha. I'll take care of it. Tony Man says, I love the movie and was extremely annoyed that she wanted to keep going and going. I did like
Yeah.
the killing at the beginning and can relate when I hear any mumble rap. I don't think that's the reason why that dude iced himself, but yeah.
Well, but that's why I was kind of leaning towards she must have had some addiction to some degree because she kept wanting to go back in. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like at the beginning it was kind of mild, and then she's playing an investigator, and but she's still diving in, and she's like, "Well, let's try it this other way now." Or
Mm-hmm.
let me try contacting this person who isn't quite dead yet. And it's, well, you're bending the rules, but you're still looking for excuses.
Well, she really wanted to reach out to her deceased mother, and it's funny because I was watching. I can't remember whether it was um Dr. Wolfila's review or oh gosh, what's the gentleman's name? He does Boots 2 reboots.
Um,
I
I
think
don't
his
want
name's
to
the
say
psychopathic
Bootsy.
cinephile or something. Wait, let me
Oh,
see.
okay.
I'll find it.
Yeah, for some reason I just wanted to say Bootsy, but I think I'm making that up.
Oh, his channel is called Stitched Together.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
He
heard of
has like
him.
the bandages wrapped on his face and he acts like he's in a padded cell. It was either his review or Dr. Wolfula that they said that this is the third horror movie this year where we've had a person trying to reconnect with their parent or suffering from the loss of their mother. And they put up that the first one was a boogeyman, that the child in there lost their mother. The second one was this movie, Talk to Me, and then also Exorcist Believer. There's a character that lost their mother. So it's
Hmm,
a big theme in 2023, people losing their mothers.
let me see. I think it looks grand, but then again, I'm a giant man child who has more toys than furniture. I think he was talking about your corner there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, have you done a video about your collection yet, Marty? Because I know he has a huge collection. Because he does stop motion animations with it with a lot of his figurines, and he has some really amazing ones.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's done some where he shows his dioramas,
Hmm.
but I don't remember him showing like a full collection.
And know what else would be good? If Marty did a video, I know we keep going on tangents. I apologize, but if you do a video because you collect so much, you might be a really good person to make a video on like to how to choose good collectibles, like what to look for, what to look out for, that type of thing.
Yeah, I can see that, like such and such company has paint issues, smearing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That type of thing. Sad Flan says, I want to see a full 2 minute hell scene from Talk to Me, but they cut it because it was too brutal. Oh, hey, what if they give us a director's cut when they well, it's already out on video because when I rewatched it, we rented it. But
Mhm.
they should do a director's cut. Just do that.
See, I didn't think what we saw was too intense. It was just mostly a bunch
Hmm.
of red smeared, and I couldn't really tell what I was looking at, other than it was just meant to be disturbing.
Hmm. It's looked like a bunch of different I think you're meant to be like demonic people rather than actual ghosts, but actually demons. I think that's what the issue was with the kids. When they were interacting, they thought they were only interacting with just ghosts, but they didn't realize that they might have been interacting also with demons, which are demons have never been human. They've never died. They're not uh,
Yeah.
of, I, well, I can't say if they're of this earth or not,
Well,
but they're not human.
there's a school of thought that would still consider them spirits, though.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I definitely consider them spirits. They're just not deceased. They've never been a living human. They've been what they are. Um,
Yeah.
and when that little girl said, I let you in, oh, shoot, that's probably a spoiler.
Yeah,
Spoiler
we
alert.
skipped ahead.
I skipped ahead.
Well, we'll
Sorry.
get back to that.
Yeah. Where do you want to backtrack to?
Um, Let me see. Where did we leave off? We were talking about the yellow. We were. Tony Man mentioned that rap scene where the guy
Oh, the
kills his
opening, the
brother.
opening
Yeah,
sequence. Yeah. Yeah, in the opening sequence, a gentleman is looking for his, I think it's his younger brother, and they're at a party, and he's running through the house trying to find his brother, and nobody's paying attention. His brother is locked in a room by himself, and he busts the door open, and his brother is kind of like in a trance-like state, and
yeah,
he's trying to get him out of the house, and everyone pulls out their cell phone and starts watching because they probably know that the brother has already interacted with the spirit world, and they're waiting for him to do something wild because as we find out later in the movie, sometimes when you let a spirit enter you, they do some wild shit. So
yeah.
they pull out their cell phones waiting for something wild to happen, and he's screaming at them to put their phones away because it's not a joke. And that's when we get that first
That first
violent
kill scene.
sequence. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What surprised me was that he gouged himself after attacking his brother.
Mhm.
I was half expecting him to take a run at someone else, which I think that's what they were kind of implying because even the people around, they were backing away and expecting something.
Mhm. And I have to give credit to the sound design because that's really sells the scene. When someone uh okay, but I'm just gonna have to say it's the opening sequence. I'm gonna talk about the opening sequence now. If you guys don't want spoilers, go watch Talk to Me and come back to the stream because we've been on here a good half an hour now. I think we well, know what? Before do that, let's just say how we feel about it for the people who don't want to hear spoilers, but want to hear how we felt about the movie. So that's what I'll do. I'll backtrack. I thought this was a pretty decent picture, especially for a first time filmmaking duo who happened to be
Hmm.
YouTubers. They were two guys that had a YouTube channel that made this movie. And for a first film, I think they did a really good job. It's not perfect, but I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was two brothers if I read the credits correctly.
Mm,
Yeah, but I didn't know that they were YouTubers, so that's neat.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I mean, I liked the film. I half kind of want to complain about some of the acting, but
mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, well, how do you actually pretend something that isn't actually there? I
Well,
mean,
they do a good job with this, and again, I'm gonna make a comparison on the new Chucky series. I think they're on season 3 now, and there's a scene where the kids had to react to Chucky on a cell phone, and I remember thinking these kids are really good actors because I'm thinking about how they filmed the scene, and if they're just reacting to a cell phone, we don't know whether they actually, filmed Chucky first and actually had them react to the actual scene with Chucky in it, or did they have them react to a blank cell phone and just edited in the Chucky part of it? If they had them just act to a blank cell phone and edited in Chucky later, those kids acted their asses off because one was crying, one was screaming, one was angry. It was a really really great scene. So, and they're
yeah,
younger kids. Those kids are like 15, like in real life, they're like 14 and 15 years old. So I
yeah.
think we can criticize the acting without, I mean, you can criticize something and still like it. That's how I feel. Uh, Spoiler alert to for my Exorcist Believer review, which is coming soon. I liked it, but it still had a lot of issues.
I've
So
heard that. I've heard it
yeah,
was a stinker.
hmm it's like I could see all the problems with it, but I still had fun watching it. And this movie is similar like that, where I had fun watching this movie, but there's
Hmm.
still issues like that there's kinks that could have been worked out. Like
Yeah,
some of the characters, like this is one of those movies where the parents are there, but they're not really there. Like we don't know anything about her dad. We don't know anything much about her friend's mother. Her friend's mother is just always telling them, "I'm going to work. Don't get in trouble." Like that's her. It's kind of like the Nightmare on Elm Street approach to parenting. We exist, but we don't really interact with you.
Yeah, Tony is saying, I think they did what they did with Thanos, reacted to someone in a green suit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's possible they could have had something playing and they were reacting to that and then just superimposed over it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean the movie I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's a bad film. It's entertaining. It still held my interest.
Mm-hmm.
The scene with the bulldog made me uncomfortable because my first thought was, please do not hurt him.
I'm glad that no dogs were harmed in this movie. A human being's feelings may be hurt though, because with
They'll
that person,
walk it off. They'll get
yeah.
over it.
Now we're gonna get into spoilers, and I think that's a great spoiler to start with. There's okay. Let's explain what happens with some of these kids when they do the talk to me with the hand. They initially see the spirit, and so they're able to stop right there. They're able to stop at that point and engage with the spirit, but they don't stop there. They go
Hmm.
one step further and say, I let you in, which allows the spirit to jump into their body. Now, the dog scene, a particular spirit jumps into a boy's body who I think the boy, even though they don't outright say it, I think he's coded as being asexual. Some of the
Oh,
way that they were describing him, and the girl talking about how she's been dating him for so many months and he won't even kiss her, and then it come out that he doesn't really like her touching him. I think he's meant to be coded as asexual, but they never say it outright.
hmm.
So when the spirit or demon jumps into his body, he starts acting really freakily oversexed, and he should I say tongue kissed the dog? The
Yeah,
dog was just licking his face, but he turned the dog licking his face into trying to make out with the dog.
he fell
And
over out of his chair and
hmm
yeah, I mean, he didn't even buy that dog a drink.
no, it's the type of scene that's simultaneously horrific and hilarious.
Yeah, I mean,
It,
that was my main concern with it was just when the dog came up, I'm like, please do not hurt that dog. And then they started doing the kissing scene, which I imagine was meant to be like combination gross out and funny. And I'm just
hmm
kind of like, I was still more interested in, okay, just don't hurt the dog.
hmm And of course, when he comes to, he's horrified and demands everyone delete the video from their phones, but I don't think they did. They also say that when they allow the spirit to come in them, it's like they are a passenger inside their body. So they can see everything that's going on. So while the demon was tongue kissing the dog, he had to sit there and experience his body doing things that he didn't want it to do, which would have been adds a layer of horror if we are coding this character as asexual. It's like really, really, really dirty to do that to them. But that's not even that's kind of gross. But it leads to later the night. Do you want to describe the foot scene, or do you want me to do it?
Oh, yeah. That one was a crazy one where I know she had made several jumps into that spirit world and she was now seeing things without the aid of the hand, which is mentioned later on by a different character. And she saw kind of like, what was it? She was wearing a nightgown. It was this older woman that was crawling
Mm-hmm.
on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up to, I can't remember the guy's name.
It's the same guy that ended up kissing the dog.
Yeah, make out guy. That's his
Mm-hmm.
name now.
Yeah, we'll call him the makeout guy.
But yeah, she comes up and she starts sucking on his toes and obviously very fetish like.
Mm-hmm.
But then we realized it was actually Mia who was doing that. So she was seeing something projected, but it was actually her that was doing these actions. So of course, Dog Boy was horrified that she would even be touching his toes
Mm-hmm.
and just totally misinterpreted the whole situation, even though she tried saying no, there was somebody else there.
You
Which
can't even look up most of the actors' names because when I go on IMDb, a lot of them are such newcomers. There's no picture.
ah,
so if I don't know their character's name, I can't figure out who they are. Um, But he did a good job. Oh, the best actor in it. Let me tell you, the best actor. His picture is here. Riley, the young man that played Riley, Joe Bird. He did the dang thing. I've put up both pictures here. This is him in the movie, and then him in real life. I got it over here. He did an amazing job. And this is this his first? It's his third acting job, because he was in Rabbit in 2017 and First Day in 2020. Those might have been short films, though I'm not 100%
Ah,
sure. But he really he did so much for such a young actor. Like, he really nailed it. And he plays Mia's best friend's younger brother,
oh,
who
okay.
initially they weren't going to let play the game because he's in the movie. He's only 13, and they're like, "You're not old enough to play the game yet." But then they were like, "Well, let him do it for only 40 seconds, because I think the top amount they're supposed to do is 90 seconds. You're not supposed to go over 90 seconds." So they said, "Okay, we'll let him do it for 40 seconds." But he ends up going over by almost 2 minutes and really harming himself, because the spirit that jumps in him is just like uh super violent towards either themselves or humans. So he starts harming himself, and he ends up in a coma. And
Yeah. Yeah, he started beating his head and face, even broke his sister's fingers in the process.
mhm,
And he's the character that Mia was trying to make contact with at some point when she was bending the rules, and
mhm,
that's when we get to that point to where a little girl ghost appears, and as you were saying, she said, "I let you in," so she did the reverse.
mhm. And then we get to see, it's hard to tell what they were trying to show us, but it looked to me like a bunch of different people in this spirit realm or demon realm holding Riley down, and they all, it kind of reminded me of a flashback scene in Event Horizon, which
Oh,
was also cut. That movie, they cut that scene because they said it was too extreme. Whenever they do scenes where it's cutting to a supposed hell, they always cut it out and say it's too much.
it's like it's a fake interpretation, so it's like, why be afraid of it?
Hmm. Tony Man says, I felt like it was a form of bullying, making the nerds do talk to me only to laugh and record them. Am I wrong? I didn't
I
take it as a.
hadn't.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say, yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way, but I don't really think that's what they were doing. It was just more of a social game.
Yeah, I didn't take it that way either. I took it more of like daring each other to be brave. I'm trying to think of something in the past that would have been com- comparable. Um,
Probably like Truth or Dare or something like that.
yeah, yeah. Spin the bottle.
Oh gosh, that did
Things I've
happen.
read about but never been present for. I assume these things happen. I was never invited to those type of parties.
No, no 7 minutes in heaven.
No.
It's more like 15 minutes, vacuum the carpet.
Mhm.
No, but yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, I interpreted the hand as being like a Ouija board.
Mhm.
Monkey's paw also comes to mind
Mm.
because
I
they go
read that
in.
the
Mhm.
Ouija board, although they copied it off of the spirit board, which was usually carved into tables that mediums used when was it Parker Brothers?
Yeah, I
I
think
think it was
so.
Parker Brothers. When they developed the Ouija board as a game, they tried to market it as a couples game and said
Hmm.
that couples need to sit with their knees touching and play the Ouija board. I found that interesting that they originally marketed it as a couples game.
Yeah. Well, Norman Rockwell, who was known as painting the Great American Pastimes, he actually
Mhm.
painted a Ouija board scene where the couple is touching hands and fingers,
Mhm.
playing. So it kind of really says how popular that game was.
Mhm. And then and everything changed when The Exorcist came out and said, "Oh, your child can get possessed." if you, I
Oh
wonder if
gosh.
that made the sales go up or down. Probably increased the sales.
I'd probably, but then you have movies like The Omen, and parents were shaving their kids' head looking for numbers.
Oh wow, that is wild.
Yeah, I think that's, well, that was back during the whole Satanic Panic era, which I wish
Hmm.
it would come back. I love those movies.
Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch this past weekend I had started watching what I call like the knockoffs of The Exorcist because when I
Oh
was writing
yeah.
my notes for my review, I thought about the movie Abby, which came out in 1974, which is basically a black version of The Exorcist. And then I remembered Beyond the Door, which is an Italian version of The Exorcist.
Uh-huh.
And when I went on Tubi, there's so many other movies from Spain and the UK, all within like 1974 to 1977-ish, that all made like their own version of The Exorcist. So I put them in a watch list so I can watch the rest of them because I'm really interested to see. Oh, and I watched the Turkish one called Satan, or they
Yes,
pronounce it Shitan.
I've seen
Um,
that one.
yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
it's
very
almost a
interesting.
scene for scene remake, except I
Hmm.
think the mom in that one's a lot hotter than Ellen Burstyn.
Oh yes, yeah. The mother in Shitan is so beautiful. They even made her a lot of her outfits the same as Chris McNichol's outfits, but that could have
Mm.
also just been what was popular to wear in that time period. So I'm not sure. But yeah, this movie. One thing that I noticed on rewatching, which was really cool, you notice a lot more each time you watch it. I think with this movie, and one of the things I noticed was the demon that was coming through, or this spiritual entity. I'm still not 100% sure which it was. I believe was impersonating her mother. And
Yes.
the reason why I think it was impersonating her mother is because what clicked to me is that scene with the foot. She sees the person crawl. The first person she saw when she said "talk to me" was what I call the drowned woman, because the woman looked like like she was bloated from water and her hair was wet and she looked like someone that had drowned. That's the same entity that was crawling in the corner of the room when um the little boy woke up with Mia sucking on his toes. Um, and a lot of scenes when I rewatched it with the surround sound on, you can hear like either dripping water or gurgling when they show her mother.
Mm.
And at first, when I first show her mother, her hair appears dry. But as the movie goes along and it keeps showing the spirit looking like her mother's hair is wet. Her mother didn't drown. She committed suicide. So that's what gave me the idea that the entity is impersonating her mother.
Hmm. Yeah, I hadn't caught that, but the fact that there were inconsistencies in the story where the dad shows the suicide note and then
Mm-hmm.
the other entity keeps saying, no, that's a lie, it didn't happen. And it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like, well, if it was actually her mom, she wouldn't be lying about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let me see. Tony Man was saying, I loved the Captain Howdy bootleg in Satan, but can't remember the name.
Oh, it was. I wrote it down in my notes because I was gonna review that one. I bet you I'll pull it up. What the Captain Howdy's name was in Sheeton. Let's see. Captain Larson.
Ah, that's funny. Oh, and then I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, sorry. They say check out Satanic Panic. That was a fun one. I think I've seen
I
that
think I
one.
saw that one. Was that the one where the girl had to go and did she like deliver a pizza and then
Yeah, I think so. And
yeah, and then she stumbled upon like
a
like these
cold.
really wealthy Satanists in a mansion. I think I've seen that one. Oh, the one
Yeah.
I need to add to my list is Satanic Hispanics. That's still at the movie
Oh,
theater, I think.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it just came out. Let me see.
It sounded like Latsploitation. Um,
Let me look it up.
Tony says,
Say,
I thought the mother and daughter looked the same ass age.
yeah, they did look well. That's because once again they have a 26-year-old playing a teenager, and the woman playing
Yeah.
her mother is probably 35. Like they
Yeah.
do that.
See, I went in thinking they were college kids, and then
Yeah,
when you have this high school setup,
they
it was
should have
kind of
made them
like,
college
what?
kids because not a single one of them looked like a high school student,
No,
except
not
for
at all.
the person they had playing a 13-year-old actually looked like a 15-year-old. Yeah, Satanic Hispanics is I'll show the poster for it. This is the poster for it.
Ah,
Back it up so I can see that. Let's see. Um, it's written by Alejandro Brugues. I think that's how you say the last name. Mike Mendez, and there's others. I wonder if it's an anthology because there's a lot of writers on this. Mike Mendez, Gigi Saul Guerreros, and Eduardo Sanchez. And one more, Damian Rugna.
okay. So I want
That's
to say it's like Spanish, like Spain Spanish.
let me see. Let me scroll down and see if it tells us. Because it might, a lot of times when I think it's Spain Spanish, it's Argentina too, but it's not. Country of origin, United States.
Huh.
So these, the people writing it could be from, I mean, their ancestry could be from a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
But it's a United States film.
Yeah. I mean, I was just guessing Spain because they have very unique
Yeah.
surnames, like Almodovar for some reason, and I it took me a while to learn how to pronounce that.
Hmm. And the spelling can be different because I know for my on my mother's side of the family, we have a surname that was Torres, but it's Torres with a Z. But I've
Huh.
seen Torres with an S, and I don't know where the Torres with the S people come from.
I've seen the one with the S. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
used to just assume that maybe they were Portuguese, but I don't know. Somebody in the comments, if you know or you watch this video later and you heard Torres with an S, let me know where you're from because I just wonder. But yeah, that one's currently at the movie theater, Satanic Hispanics. And it looks like it might also be, well, know what? Let me read the synopsis. It says, when police raid a house in El Paso, they find it full of dead Latinos and only one survivor known as the Traveler. He's taken to the police station for questioning. There he recounts tales of horrors from his life,
Yeah.
chronicling portals leading to other worlds, mythical beings, demons, and the undead. He speaks of legends from Latin America. Satanic Hispanic tells stories by top Latin filmmakers that showcase the skills of Hispanic talent both on and off screen. So it does sound like it's an anthology.
Yeah.
Sounds
It's
cool.
it sounds like something I would watch. I imagine limited release in theater.
Hmm. I would definitely watch this. I hope it comes to. Let me see. Is it near me? Let's look on here. Oh, it's not coming up. Let me add theaters near me. See if it comes up. They're playing it at the Aloma Cinema and Grill, so they're kind of treating it. Which Aloma Cinema Grill is kind of like the Alamo Draft House, where it's a theater, but it's got like tables in there, and you can order like your dinner or your lunch and beer, and you just sit at the tables and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what the Alamo Draft House looks like. I've never been to an Alamo Draft House. We don't have one in Florida, but
Yeah.
I by the name of it, I think that it's could be similar to this Aloma Cinema and Grill.
Yeah, I love Draft House, and yeah, the seats usually come in two pairs because, dates, or you do have
Mhm.
like a few single chairs on the outside aisle, and yeah, in front of your chair you have like a built-in table,
Mhm.
and they'll bring your food, your drinks, whatever. They have desserts.
Ooh, let me do this. I have an idea.
Oh,
Aloma.
Slipknot was asking, is it free to talk now? We're wrapping up, but we're still talking about the movie and then just side chatting.
Mhm. I'm gonna pull up images of both. Okay, so that's the outside of the Aloma Cinema and Grill,
Oh, okay.
and I'll pull it up again. Maybe I didn't hold up long enough. Kind of looks like an old fashioned theater on the
Mm,
outside,
yeah.
and then on the inside, it looks like this with the seats and the
Yeah.
tables. And now I'm gonna pull up the Draft House.
Yeah, the setup is pretty similar, as far as the tables and the chairs. Oh, and then have you seen Candyland 2022? It's on Tubi. I've never heard of it.
No, I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to look it up. This is the outside of I know there's more than one Alamo Draft House, so this is one of them. It says Park North.
Hmm.
I think there's one. Isn't there one in Austin? Let me pull up the one in Austin.
I want to say we have about maybe two or three of them.
Oh wow!
Oh
And
no,
we
wait,
don't
I'm
even have
thinking
one here.
Lakeline. No, I'm thinking Lakeline. I think in Austin we have two. There's one downtown, and then there's one.
That's one of the
Um,
ones in Austin. And then let me see what the inside looks like. This one just has regular seats. The one they're showing, that's a Slaughter Lane. That's not the same one.
okay, yeah, that's the smaller one.
This one looks cool. Look at the outside of that one. I love the old theater signs. I think they look so much cooler than new ones.
Mm,
Oh, there's the tables built in. Okay, that's a better shot of the theater,
yeah,
whereas the
yeah.
tables
So
built in there.
pretty much the same as your
Hmm.
Aloma.
Yeah, Aloma.
I
It's
almost said
called Aloma
Aloha.
because of the name of the street. A lot of the streets here, they're if they don't come from like Latin American names, like Orlando is a Latin American name. We have a lot of native names like Hiawassee, Alamo. I mean Aloma. What else? Kissimmee is a native name. There's like a lot of stuff in Florida have either native name or Latin American name because Ponce de Leon was running roughshod through Florida before it became part of the United States. So a
Mm.
lot of stuff that was claimed by the Spanish government first before it became United States. So there's a lot of stuff here. Even a lot of architecture is still more similar. The older stuff that's like, you know, 100 years old looks more like Spanish architecture.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
Oh, and Tony Man was saying Satanic Hispanics is on kayfabe.
Oh, the site. Oh, okay. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, let me find that candy. You said J JJ. Can we? We're gonna call you JJ. MPB. We're gonna call you JJ for short, though. I'm gonna look up that Candyland,
Oh, and then
2022.
yes, 2022. And then in the meantime, Tony was also saying Alamo Draft House is also coming to Naples, Florida.
Oh, but that's still far away. That's like 3 hours away from here. um, it
Candyland
says
must
here.
be. Oh, sorry.
Wait, no, say again. I didn't hear you.
Oh no, I was going to say Slipknot says Candyland must be Candyman's favorite place.
Oh, sweets to the sweet.
Yeah.
It says here, a seemingly naive and devout young woman finds her way in the underground world of truck stop prostitutes, aka lot lizards. But this is a horror thriller. Here is the poster to it,
Huh.
Candyland, and looks like it was on a festival circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grimfest, I think that is, Fright Fest. These other two are too small for me to see. La Como Film Festival, and what's this one? New York City Horror Film Festival. Okay. Candyland deserves to be the next cult horror breakout movie, The Hollywood News. Interesting. I will save this to watch later.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for letting us know about that. I love hearing about movies from the chat because they put me up. They keep me up on game. They really do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I usually add to my watch list. I'll either screenshot or it's like, oh man, I missed something. I have to go back and rewatch, which not the end of the world.
Not at all.
Let me see. And JJ says you're going to love it.
Thanks. Especially since I like is it like cuz I love all types of horror. Come to think of it, cuz I've been slacking on my extreme horror lately cuz I haven't been watching a lot of extreme horror. I love B horror. My favorite is probably gory horror movies. Like if you can make it look like somebody snatched somebody's intestines out and wrapped it around somebody else's neck and choked them with it, shout out to Reanimator. That's my type of movie. I
Yeah.
want more, like, bring that back. Everyone wants to do this 80s aesthetic and they always do the same thing. Oh, I'm going to put red and green lights and a synth score. I've got 80s aesthetic. No, put somebody getting their head ripped off. That's 80s aesthetic.
Ty West can
You
do
want to
it.
make an 80s movie? You gotta go there.
Yeah, the sillier the better.
Yes. And it doesn't have to be a perfect effect. It really doesn't. It just has to be fun. Like one of the more fun effects in Killer Clowns from Outer Space is the guy saying, "What are you gonna knock my block off?" and the clown punches his head
Oh
off. It's
yeah,
not the
and it
best
kind of like
effect, but
pops
it's
off like one of
yeah,
those rock'em sock'em.
mm-hmm, it's still fun. JJ says, put it this way, Art the Clown would be proud of this one. Oh, good. See, that's another series of
I
of
haven't
things
seen
that
any of those.
when we talk about movies that are enjoyable but have problems, that's what I feel about the Terrifier series. I feel like Art the Clown could be a horror icon. I think you have an amazing character. Um, well, I should say you have the amazing beginnings of a character because we don't know anything about Art. We don't know where he comes from. We don't know if he's supernatural. We don't know anything about him. He's just Art the Clown. I think they probably should create a lore for him, maybe, but I think that he's an amazing character. The gore scenes and both Terrifier and Terrifier 2, excellent. But they
Yeah.
need to do two things. Number one, someone tell the director, cut the runtime. These movies don't need to be more than 77 minutes long.
Yeah.
No Terrifier movie needs to be more than 77 minutes long. It's essentially a slasher movie. We don't need, if you're not going to have a very involved story, it doesn't need to be beyond 75 to 77 minutes. That's number one. Number two, get a good protagonist. One of the things that if you really want to be iconic, to be a slash, you got to have that. Well, there's one exception. I'll tell you what the exception of that is. But typically, you have to have a protagonist that people root for. Michael Myers has Laurie Strode. We rooted for her. Freddy Krueger has Nancy. We rooted for her. The one that I say kind of shirks that is Jason Voorhees. Like, we barely remember anybody in Jason Voorhees movies.
Yeah.
I don't know how he was able to sidestep having a decent protagonist. Maybe because each of the kids in the Friday 13th series are kind of interesting, at least. Like I was talking about earlier, I reshared some of my Friday 13th reviews. Breakdancing girl, and you got the
Oh
boy that makes the
yeah.
mat when Corey Feldman he made the masks. He like you had the telekinetic girl. You got oh, what's his name? And part three that was dancing crazy. Where the hell's the corkscrew
Oh,
Ted? That dude,
Crispin
like
Glover.
they, Kristen Glover. Thank you, Kristen Glover. Each of the characters have their little quirks that makes you like them, even though you don't really get to know them. Maybe that's how Friday the 13th survives without having like a solid protagonist. Art
Oh.
needs a solid protagonist.
See, I
In
was
the first
thinking.
Terrifier, I couldn't tell those three women apart. I didn't know there was three of them until somebody got killed twice, and I was like, "Oh wait, that wasn't the other girl." they, that's number one. You got three, the director or whoever is the casting person. You we can see what you like. We know you like a certain type, but you need to make your characters at least like. I keep going back to Nightmare on Elm Street, but Tina looks nothing like Nancy. Totally
No.
different, right? You go to Dream Warriors, all those kids look different. You go to Terrifier, you got three girls that all look like what's her name, Megan Fox stand-ins. We need a little more variety. So get out of your kinky space and like hire a casting director that can cast three distinct types of girls or guys or whichever, and then you have a little better mix of people to be victims and someone we can root for. In Terrifier 2, you tried to make this family. I still didn't care about them. I don't know why. I need somebody, a screenwriter, someone who's really good at screenwriting, to explain to me why that family didn't touch me. I cared nothing. I cared absolutely nothing about this family. And the movie was too long. And then you had this whole part with the sword. I feel like Stephen A. Smith. I'm here to tell you,
Oh.
we don't care. But the gore was good. The gore was good. Uh, I don't think Art needed a sidekick. I mean, that was kind of his little like weird Harley Quinnish sidekick was unnecessary. But you guys came here looking for a Talk to Me review and ended up with a Terrifier review. My apologies. I just somebody mentioned Terrifier in the comments and I just went off on a tangent. But he's doing a part three, so hopefully he'll hit his stride in part three.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Tony Man says, I only know Candyland. Oh, I only know Candyland I know is from Django.
yeah.
Um,
And then if
JG
we,
says you're good. Oh yeah, I read that one. I read the
Guy
art.
told me Django Unchained is his
Mm,
favorite Western movie. I haven't seen it myself, but it's quite high praise for such a recent movie.
hmm
It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was a nice departure from. I think a lot of people got bogged down in the Tarantino-ness of it, but it was kind of good to see um slave masters get their comeuppance. Like you don't see that every
Yeah.
day. You don't get to see a revenge movie for on slave masters. I mean, how are you gonna not like it? Um, Tony Man says, "Is Lake Mungo worth a watch? I see it's found footage and on Shutter. Will I enjoy it, or should I rewatch your review, Lady Shasha?" I don't think I reviewed Lake Mungo, or am I forgetting that I reviewed? I don't think I reviewed Lake Mungo, but Lake Mungo would be better described as a mockumentary than a found footage movie because it's literally presented as a documentary, but the events that happen in it didn't happen. It's all a screenplay, but it's very effective. Like if you turned it on and didn't know that it was not a real documentary, you really would think it was a real documentary, and it's very creepy.
Hmm. Oh yeah, Slipknot. Isn't 75 minutes quite short for a movie?
Not
Um,
necessarily. If you don't have that much story to tell, and it's mostly a slasher movie like the Terrifier movies are, I think they work better as a 75-minute movie. Because what happens is if you have 75 minutes of story, but you keep trying to push it to 90 minutes or 2 hours, then you're stretching it out too much. You're stretching it too thin. You don't want to dilute it. You want to keep it potent. Oh, I love that choice of words. I'm going to say that again. You don't want to stretch it out and dilute it. You want to keep it potent. So I think the Terrifier movies would be more potent at 75 minutes
hmm.
because he doesn't have that much of a story to tell. Um,
Yeah. You just tie up all the loose ends and cut more of the
mhm.
fat.
Yeah, because we're here to see art come and mess people up, and that's all you have to give us. But just give us a little bit better of a protagonist so that we give a damn. But keep the gore the same. His gore is on point. It almost makes me feel like, well, maybe this guy isn't a director. Maybe he's more of a special effects tech that happens to be making movies. But the gore is on point with those,
Hmm.
and some of the comedy. Because I kind of laughed at that salt scene. Because there's a scene in Terrifier 2 where Art is messing this person up, and he actually goes out to the kitchen and comes back and sprinkles salt on their wounds. And I just thought, that's just messed up. But it was fun.
And then,
Tommy says his name was Jim and the computer said he's a lousy lay. No, he called him a dead fuck. That's what the computer says. Computer says you're a dead fuck. That's from Friday the 13th 3. I never knew his
uh,
name was Jim. I just knew him as Crispin Glover dancing crazy.
yes, I think that's the most memorable scene in that whole movie.
hmm
I mean,
He
it
really
even
looked like,
beats out Booty Shorts Girl.
yes. And the Doublemint twins, was that in part 3 or was that part 4 with the twins?
That one's
I
not
can't.
ringing a
I think that
bell.
was part 4 because or was it part 3? No, it was part 3 because the twins showed up to the party he was dancing at. It was part 3.
Oh, okay.
So, I would say to get towards wrapping this up. Who would you recommend Talk to Me to?
Um, I would still go with maybe somebody who's getting into horror. It's not too intense, but it gives you
hmm
those horror elements. So something a
Oh,
little
definitely.
on the introductory side, especially if they're interested but don't really know if horror's their genre.
hmm What was this rated, by the way? Because it kind of felt like it could have been a PG-13. Oh, it's actually rated R.
Huh.
Was there cursing? I don't remember them cursing that much.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, this didn't feel like an R.
It does
Interesting.
feel more like a PG-13.
hmm Yeah, I agree. I would recommend this to people who are just getting into horror. They may not want to see anything too intense, but this would still give you a little bit of a good creep factor. Um, I definitely when they would play on I mostly watch YouTube when they would play the clips of it and they would show her leaning to the side doing the
Oh
creepy
yeah.
voice at night, I would mute it.
Ugh.
I kept on muting. I'm like, this is too creepy for me to be watching at 3 o'clock in the morning. No, no, thank you. So I think it's pretty effective. Um, I would definitely recommend it to people who like supernatural horror. If you like,
Hmm.
um, let me see what's a good. I would say something that's less intense than The Conjuring because that one was pretty intense, um, and less silly as Insidious because Insidious can have some really intense moments, but it was always broken up by the silliness. Like I always, when I think of how scary the demon in the corner is, then I think about the little boy dancing a tiptoe to the tulips. And
Oh,
I'm like,
I have to
this silly,
rewatch that one now.
yeah, there's this silliness. This is why I feel like James Wan and Lee Wanell they work so well together because James Wan needs someone to rein in his silliness. He needs Lee to say, hey, let's tone it down, or it could be opposite. Maybe it's Lee putting all this silly stuff in, but I don't know.
Maybe it's both of them.
Yeah, because when I see well the only Lee Wanell project I saw that he did by himself, not that it's the only project he's done, just the only one I saw was Upgrade, which was more science fiction horror. And it
Mm.
was very straightforward.
Was that
It,
the one that was the series, or was that a movie?
it was a movie where this guy gets injured and he gets an AI implant and like some type of robotics implant in his body, so he's no longer quadriplegic anymore, he can move around, but then the AI can take over, he allows the AI to take over and he it's like getting revenge on people. It takes place in like the near future where
Mm.
people can have like weapons implanted in their body. Like some of these guys, they had like guns implanted into their forearms. It's a really wild movie. There's parts of it that kind of would remind you of RoboCop. It
Hmm.
has that type of feel.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Oh, let me see. Tony Man was saying three was the goofy looking dude with the mask and the staircase wheelchair dude.
You sure that wasn't two? Oh no, it was three because he gets his mask in three. And that was Shelly. Shelly's the goofy dude that because Shelly's the one that brought the hockey mask to the lake. Yeah. But the staircase kill, I thought that was in two, but it might not have been.
Hmm.
Might have been in three. They all run together in my head like one long movie.
Yeah. Was that the Tommy Jarvis trilogy?
Tommy Jarvis starts in four, yeah. Because
Four.
he's first played by Corey Feldman in part four, because that was supposed to be um part four is what? The final something.
Final chapter or something.
Yes, the final chapter. And then part five, I think, is Jason Lives. Oh no, it's a new beginning. I think part five is a new beginning. And then part six is Jason Lives. Because in a new beginning, that's the one where Tommy Jarvis is in the group home with the other teens, the other at risk teens. And Jason actually ends up not being Jason in this movie. It's like a paramedic that was impersonating Jason.
Yes, and I felt
And that's
ripped
the
off.
yeah, that was the second Tommy Jarvis. And then in part six, Jason Lives, that's when Tommy Jarvis goes into the third actor to play Tommy Jarvis goes into the cemetery and puts like a metal piece of a fence through Jason to make sure he's dead, and then lightning hits it and revives Jason. Hmm.
It's like, well, there you go. You stabbed somebody with a lightning rod.
Okay, slip. Wait. I'm Tony Man says I'm gonna get that hand and play it alone in my room because nothing scares me. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Slipknot, because there's a such thing, not that the hand is real, but there's a such thing as tulpa creation, as TULPA, and that's when if you believe something enough, you manifest it. So you don't want to play those type of games. Um, Slipknot fan says, which Friday had the chubby hitchhiker girl eating a banana and she flips the bird to the car who won't even stop for her? I want to say that's either the first or the second one. It's one of the earlier ones.
I think it's
Banana
the
Girl's in.
second one.
Hmm.
Because the hitchhiker girl in the first one, she's the one about talking about kids, the little goats.
Mm-hmm. Tony Man thinks that that's 4 also. No, she wasn't dressed like the 80s though. She was dressed like the 70s. She had a headband on and everything. Unless there was 2 Banana Girls. Did they repeat that? I don't know. JJ says 5 is a new beginning. And Tony says, yeah, they yell out, "You got a sister, arf arf."
Eh,
Mm,
Glover and the twins are
mhm.
all from 4. 4 was my favorite. I know I know it like the back of my hand.
Mm. I think you're right. You know why? Because they didn't have any scenes in 3D. That's all I know is 4, not 3, because the 3D. I remember the couple with the lady with the rollers, the guy with the yo-yo. That was part 3. I'm remembering all of the scenes that were in 3D because I have the 3D. Uh, is it is it a Blu-ray or is it a DVD? I can't remember whether I have the Blu-ray or the DVD, but I have part 3 3D with the 3D glasses. So I think of all the parts that are actually in 3D.
Hmm.
I think the harpoon scene was in 3D. Um, Jason sticking his hands out like this at you was in 3D. Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, did you know that Saw 10 and also Exorcist Believer were released in 4DX?
Hmm.
And 4DX are like these theaters where it's in 3D, but it's also the seats move. Um,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
yeah. One of the
Like those
co-hosts
box
on.
seats,
Hmm?
those something box seats.
Yeah, they're like D-box seats, but
Yeah.
they move. They move even more than the D-box seats. Like, let me see if I can find an image of it. Um, One of the co-hosts on Hood Podcast, he went to see Saw 10 in um in the 4DX theater, and he said that when um Jigsaw had the person near the flames, that the seats even heated up really, really hot.
Oh, wow. Butt warming seats.
And also when there's blood, it splashes water on you.
Oh, so
Yep,
in
the
other
seats
words,
move
don't
like
bother
this.
doing your makeup too fancy.
Yeah. Oh, this person's not holding the camera still enough for me to see the seats moving. Let me find. I got an ad. The last one I saw in 4DX here in Orlando was, I think, was a Fast and Furious 8. It's the one where The Rock pushed the missile with his hand. They made it snow in the theater when they went to Siberia.
Yeah.
Here we go. This shows what the seats do. That's the face air, water shoots at you. Or, like I said, with whenever there's scenes where blood were splattered, they'll use the water to shoot that at you too. Scent, which there was a scene in some movie we were watching, you can smell like the orange groves. I haven't seen a movie where they use the bubbles yet. Maybe if they did the Little Mermaid in 4DX, they used the bubbles.
That would have been cool.
Fog. They did use the fog, and when I went to see Kong Skull Island, they used the fog in there.
Hmm.
Wind. Oh, no, I did see something after Fast and Furious. I saw the last Jurassic Park movie was really fun in 4DX. There's the
Uh-huh.
seats moving. I
Yeah.
bet you Top Gun was probably fun to see in this too because they will make you feel like you're flying in the airplane. But yeah. What's surprising is they allow people to bring food in here.
Huh. I never would have guessed.
Yeah. And I, I, I don't know why you try to eat while while being in there, but I guess. And I don't know why they would want to clean that up because I imagine a lot of people drop their popcorn. But what was I saying? Yeah, the last Saw and also Exorcist Believer were released in 40x. So I think if more horror filmmakers have that in mind, imagine the type of films we'll get. And the reason why this popped into my head, I know I'm doing an ADHD thing where I start talking about something and people are like, how the hell did she get there? We were just talking about Friday the 13th. Then my mind thought, oh, I remember the difference between 3 and 4 based on what's in 3D. Then my mind went, oh, we have 4D now. What was in 40X? And then that's how I got to that thought process. I know I need to fill people in because it might seem disjointed, but there was a path. There was a path I went through before I got there.
Oh, this is funny. Tony, man, I was dragged to see a BTS concert in 4DX and ended up enjoying myself. Not as much as everyone else, but I did nonetheless.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. They should do more concerts like that because the seats move to the rhythm of the music. This was nice.
Oh, cool. The
And
problem I
oh, what
find
my
with shows is that people don't keep their butts planted, so then they force you to stand up, which is my main gripe.
mm, um Jay was telling me, Jay from Hood Podcast was telling me that when they played the end of the movie and they played the Saw theme song like that dun 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 dun, dun that the seats were bouncing to the rhythm of that song too.
Yeah.
And I was like that had to be fun.
Hmm.
Alright. Do we have any final thoughts on Talk to Me other than I recommend it?
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend it too. I would say don't go in expecting like some hardcore horror. It's
Mhm.
just pretty. I would rate it as mild,
Mhm. Very much so.
but it's enjoyable. It has its moments. I think there was only one gross out scene with the dog frenching,
Mhm.
and that was about it. So it's pretty easy watch. Once again, I would still recommend it to like a first timer or people who are not
Mhm.
sure if they're interested in horror. But yeah, I'll just leave it as that.
Mhm. And definitely if you have surround sound, turn your surround sound on because I think this the sound design was really well done. Slipknot fan says number 4 was brilliant. It was interesting how Tommy confused Jason by shaving his head to look like him. A similar technique to how the other girl pretended to be his mother. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Tony was saying, I give Talk to Me three creepy hands, and I let you win. So 4 to 5,
Okay.
and one I
I
let you win.
yeah.
I think I saw somewhere that they're working on a sequel to for Talk to Me, or
Oh, I could see that happening because the hand could be passed to different groups of kids.
yeah,
So I could see this being a series. Yeah.
yeah. I had seen a poster. I don't know if it was real or if somebody just made it like as fan art,
Mm.
but that would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, for an A24 film, would you say it meets that standard?
Yeah, I think so because A24 typically likes to get kind of quiet, slow buildy type horror movies, and this one is actually faster paced than what they usually do. Because
Mm-hmm.
I the last A24 films I watched were Men, Lamb, um, Midsummer. I think that was A24. Hereditary. They're usually really slow build type films, and this one is a little bit more. Less art housey. Not to say that's a negative thing, because I love art house horror as well, but I think it's more accessible to people who aren't into slow build art housey type films. It
Yeah.
still has its artistic merits, but I think it's a little bit more mainstream, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, I would lean towards mainstream, but yeah, it still has that indie feel about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it. Tony Man asks, "Where's the doggy or the doggo?"
Yeah, they usually go off in the background and I pretend they're saying something, but other
Mm-hmm.
than the cat, everyone's asleep right now.
Cool. And Slipknot fans, I wonder what A24 will do differently with Halloween. Yeah, there is talks that A24 is trying to acquire the rights to Halloween.
Hmm.
I would be very interested in seeing an A24 Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time to reboot the series again, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always saying that's the only franchise I'm aware of that it's older than I am. It started before I was even born and it's still going.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean to me is crazy, but it also says how much people love that movie or that series.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's gifs of Michael Myers dancing. I
Yeah.
wonder if children of this, like, of the newest, let's say Gen Alpha, do they even see Michael Myers as scary, or do they see him like the way we see Bela Lugosi Dracula? Like, I'm sure to the people who originally saw that Dracula in the 1930s, they were probably like, that dude is scary. He's a vampire. He'll suck your blood. But to our generation, we grew up seeing him on like Count Chocula cereal. So we don't
No.
see him as scary. Do the little kids today, do they not see Michael Myers as scary? I wonder.
On that I don't know. I mean, I love the older Dracula, but I interpreted
Mm-hmm.
him more as serious and classy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, did you get the full eclipse in your neck of the woods? We got 60%, so it looks like a cloudy day in Florida.
Oh, I didn't know we even had an eclipse.
Neither did I. I didn't know there was supposed to be one.
Hmm. I wish I would have known. I would have pulled out my tarot cards just to see how they go. Because a lot of times they say that one of the best times to read your tarot cards is on a full moon, but I
Mm,
wonder what it's like to read them during an eclipse. Be interesting to find out.
okay, I didn't know about the full moon. I'll have to try that.
Hmm. All right, we'll have
Oh,
to wrap things up because I have to see if I can. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Yeah, I got to get one movie watch in between my next live stream because I've got to come back on here at 8 o'clock with Psychobabble Live. But I have
ah,
some movies I need to watch because I'm gonna be back tomorrow night with the Guilty Pleasure Gang, and we'll be talking about tomorrow night. We'll be talking about Bad Milo and Human Centipede.
ooh,
Tonight we're going to be talking about on Psychobabble. We'll be talking about the best horror weapons in horror
ooh.
movies, and I kind of had an inkling to rewatch the Toolbox Murders because I haven't seen that in a long time.
The 70s one or the remake?
The '70s one. I didn't know there was a remake, so now I have to add that to my watch list.
Yeah, it's from the early 2000s.
Mm,
And I think it's the only non-Rob Zombie film that Sherry Moon has been in.
mm. Toyman says it was The Ring of Fire Eclipse, and Slipknot fan says I think there's some horror characters that will be scary no matter what generation, like Friday or Pinhead. Mm.
Maybe. I would
Or the
definitely go
Wolfman.
Pinhead.
I think werewolves are still scary in a way.
Yeah. Well, they can
Um,
still be reinvented, so yeah, I can see that.
hmm.
Oh, what? You must have a claw hammer somewhere.
Yes, I have a claw hammer. I also have a drill because I was thinking of pulling those out because Driller Killer. I reviewed Driller Killer. That was
Ah.
that was decent. Which movie are you referring to the claw hammer from though? Because the first movie I think of that comes to mind is like Old Boy. I don't know why that jumped into my head first. I can't think of a horror movie that has a claw hammer, unless that was also in Toolbox. I haven't seen Toolbox Murders, so was that used in Toolbox Murders? That's why I want to watch it because of its title.
Mm, that'd be funny.
Mm,
Yeah, I guess it could be, you could still pull it off, killing somebody with a wrench.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty heavy.
There we go.
What is it? Great movie, Weapon 4 Barrel Shotgun from Phantasm 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna write that one down. I forgot about that one. I got to bring that up tonight. Who said that? JJMPB. I'm gonna give you credit for that. I want to say it. JJMPB.
Yeah, and then Slipknot is saying Love Phantasm too. I haven't seen them in a long time. I'd have to go back and watch two. The last time I went back and watched the first one, I was like, eh, but it has a lot of those iconic scenes in it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the film score though. I'll give it credit for that.
Toadman says the ball from Phantasm 2. You have it behind you. Yeah, that the one with the double blades is right there.
There we go. One of the dogs finally spoke up.
Oh, he woke up. He said it's time to it's time to play. I'm writing that one down too, Tony Man. Phantasm ball.
I don't think a bike chain has ever been used. Piano wire, but a bike chain would be interesting.
Tony Man, what's that thing called? Because he said it the other day. That homegirl from Audition used to saw the guy's legs off. She was going, "Giddy, giddy, 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 giddy." Oh, that's when she also put those little um acupuncture needles in him. But she had this wire that she was sawing. Maybe it's called a wire saw. I should Google what it's called that she was using. That was a pretty cool weapon. The weapon she used in Candyland is so I really need to check out Candyland too so I can see what weapon this lady used.
Hmm.
Audition.
I don't know. There's the
Gel
trusty old pencil.
is it called a Gelfon? Wait.
It's called a limb saw, I think. Hold up, I'll tell you, says Tony Man.
Okay, thanks.
Ah,
A
a survival
survival wire
wire
saw?
saw.
Thank you. I'm just gonna shorten it to wire saw. Audition. Of course, Freddy's glove.
Oh, there you go. Or spiral military wire saw.
Spiral military. The hedge clippers from The Burning.
Ah, yeah. Well, you also have, I don't know if you would count them, killer clowns from outer space. They had those acid pies. They also had balloons.
Oh, that's a good one. Acid pies, killer clowns. All right, let me get out of here. I gotta watch another movie and I'm back online at 6. But I could do this all day. This is fun.
It is. It is. Especially hearing or being reminded of ones I had totally forgotten about, like the hedge
Hmm.
clippers. Um, I don't
Is it
know. Then
called
you
a
have,
scythe? The curved blade in Curtains. There's like the ice skating scene in Curtains. I don't know how to spell. Is it SYT? Oh, I think it's SCYTHE.
I think so.
No, that's what the no, it's not a side. That's what what do you call it? My mind is going blank. The character that um Grim Reaper, that's what they call it. The Grim Reaper has uses that. No, it's a
Yeah.
curved knife.
Huh.
Curved knife used for cutting plants. I think that's what it's for. But it was used in the ice skating scene in Curtains. Oh, sickle. Thank you. Slipknot fan said sickle.
Ah,
That's what it's called. Let me Google just to make sure.
yeah, like the
Sickle
little hand
images.
ones.
Yes, it's a sickle. Yeah, that's what was used in Curtains.
Huh.
Let me write down Slipknot fans
Yeah, because
name because I'm going to give you credit tonight too. When I mention these on the other stream and say who helped me with it, and I wrote down Horror Retrospective's name for the acid pie.
oh.
And they said Children of Corn. I'm gonna write that down, and I'm gonna add Curtains was what I was thinking of. Curtains. There we go. All right, now I'm getting out of here for real this time. Thank you to the chat. You guys, like, you saved the day because there are times where my mind will blank out, like just now. Oh yeah, I had Freddie's glove
Yeah,
written down first because
which was
that's
a
what I have.
gardening tool.
I don't know if I think JJ and B here was here earlier when I showed off my that I have a new Freddie's glove that's
Yeah, I think so.
metal. Yeah, but yeah, that's the top of my list is Freddie's glove. But I'll think of some more between now and 8 o'clock. And then of course it's the other people. I should say who else is on the show, shouldn't I? Hold on, let me pull up the thumbnail to show everyone. So you know which show it is. This is 8 p.m. tonight, Cycle Babble Live. Mama Monster will be on there joining us. It's on Terrence Miguena's channel. And as always, Curly Girl at the Movies will be there. I Am the Ice Lord West will be there. And King Gore loves was it King? Is it King Loves Gore or King Gore? It's I always forget his name, but it's King Gore. I think that's his channel's name. Will be there. And with the special guest Mama Monster. There she is right there. And we'll be talking about psycho weapons. There it is.
Hmm.
Up there. There we go. That's at 8 o'clock tonight. So let me go and see if I can watch Toolbox Murderers, so I can have that as a frame of reference too. Did I put chain? Well, somebody's probably going to mention chainsaw. That's kind of an obvious one.
Yeah.
Flamethrower, The Thing. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Ah.
Output flamethrower, The Thing. And of course, Axe's chainsaw and his sawed-off shotgun. Those somebody's going to come up with those, but I'll have those in the back of my head in case someone doesn't. But with that, I'm going to say thank you guys again. Love talking about Talk to Me. I wish I had more to say about it, but I don't know. I think I said everything I had to say about it. Yeah, check it out for
Yeah.
yourself. I think if you rent it for $3, I think it's worth $3 a rent. Or if you wait for it to come on one of your streaming platforms, it's definitely worth a watch with your surround sound on, because I can't say enough how well the sound design was. And half of creepy movies sometimes is the sound design.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, just really quick, my only curiosity about Talk to Me is, okay, so Mia kept dabbling with the hand, so is that why she became one of the spirits that gets conjured every time somebody uses the hand? Because the ending scene, that's what we see as someone calls her up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think because she felt like she passed before her time, she probably wants to go back to the world of the living.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I like how that's open for interpretation because you only see her thrown in the middle of the road or the street.
Hmm.
And I didn't see any blood, so to me, I just thought, okay, well, she's still alive, and apparently not.
No.
Yeah, but that was my only question about that. But other than that, yeah, I don't really have anything to add to the discussion.
Hmm. Tony Man says she killed herself, he thinks.
Ah,
Yeah, they left that up to interpretation too because they don't show how she ended up in the road. They don't show whether she ran out into the road or whether she was pushed by her friend out into the road. So they leave it up to interpretation. Um, oh, that's a message for Tony Man. So, but I
okay.
still want to read that because that is an interesting thought. Slipknot fan says at Tony Man, you got to see the new video about whether Childs was the thing. I think it finally's been solved. That has been a question for a long time, whether Childs was the thing at the very end of the thing when they're sitting there and they're like the last two survivors. And I think it just fades to black and we never know whether Childs is the thing or not.
Hmm.
I think there was something about him not wanting to take I might be misremembering, but I feel like Kurt Russell's character offered him a swig of liquor and he was like, no. And that might have been a sign because maybe the thing doesn't drink, or maybe Childs did used to drink, but then since the thing said no, then that's what reveals that he's not Childs. I could be mistaken, but that's one of the theories that was going around.
Hmm. Possibly. Huh. Oh, by heavy spoilers. So I guess that's the channel who has that video. Oh, there
Yeah.
he goes again.
I gotta go. Stays another 10 minutes. LOL. Yeah. Well, that's me. Heavy spoilers. Okay. Got it. All right. Have a happy Saturday. Hope you guys come back in and chill with us again at 8 o'clock.
Alrighty, and that's all we have for you guys for today, and we will talk to you later.